Hello, kids on the Zoom. Hey, happy Friday and last day before spring break. Yes, this year has been on the edge of awful. I understand that, but hey, it's still spring break. You still made it there, just like winter break. So give yourself some props. And also, this is better than winter break because you don't have to sit there and wonder what your grades are for the whole. This break you can actually relax. Did you raise your hand? Hi, Kim.
When you click on the link for period 3, it takes you to period 2.
That's cool. That means I'm going to change that. I appreciate you telling me that. Zoomers, just take a deep breath. I'm going to fix something here real quick. This is your class. You see that?
Oh, it's a participant. Oh, that's right. I have a participant. I shared mine with you last night.
I know. I commented on it. And you didn't even look? Thanks so much.
No, like, on my, like this. I think 5.
Yeah, let me. Excuse me? It's just to your right arm. To your right arm.
Thank you.
All right, those of you on Zoom, I'm gonna update the Canvas page real quick here to make sure that it matches up with, where is it? With the actual class for participation. I was a little flustered this morning when I walked in here and nothing worked. You know, I never had that feeling before. So on Zoom, I'm going to share the screen. So make sure you're following with me in person. Make sure you're following along as well. So I'm in the modules here, okay? I'm going to go down to the week 12 module. And what I'm going to put in is I'm going to go to class participation. Obviously, I need to edit this. And when I do this, I'm going to remove this link. Remove it. Yep. Oh, just get it all gone. Thank you. And I'm going to copy and paste this in here. That's a YouTube video. Way to go, Mr. Brunette. Just wait, please. Obviously, I'm busy. Sorry. Okay, that link is copied. Okay. Going back here, going to do a little copy and paste action. Now your class should have the correct Google Doc. I'm going to press save. So if everybody could go ahead and do this, whether you're at home or in person, let's click on this and you should be able to edit it. Should see your name. It should not say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. This is what I get for doing this at 10 o'clock again. But this is going to be who we got. We got Clint. Yoel. No, I copy and paste it from the virtual roster, my friend. Okay. I didn't put Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday just because I felt like it. I mean, it's not really that confusing, but okay. All right, I need to be nicer. I'll stop. Thank you, Dave, for cleaning that. Appreciate it. All right. Here's how it's gonna work. Those of you on Zoom, if you want to turn a camera on, that would be cool. So I know you're there, but if not, I understand. It'd just be nice if you did. Period 1 was an absolute fiasco. We didn't have any presentations because obviously they didn't have Canvas. What did we do? Honestly, we watched the Mankind on Rubber and talked about Charles Goodyear and how the photograph, like people taking photographs, exposed the Congo even more. And then the other thing we talked about was we watched a little clip on the opium wars, how opium basically destroyed China. And then we compared it to how opium is a big problem in Indiana and around the country to this day. And just the connection of addictive drugs and like why they can do what they do. Does that make sense, Vincent? It actually was. So I made what's the saying? I made lemons. Yeah, these lemons. I made the lemonade and I didn't throw the peels away. I don't know, man. Don't worry about it. I'm allowed to make my own jokes. You're not allowed to talk until I ask you to. That's how this works. All right, we're ready to go. So I'm getting Clint. Can you come up here? You're going to be actually standing up here. We're going to change it up. We're going to period 3. And all right, Clint, right here. Education in developing countries. We're going to download. And we got it. All right. Stop the share, change the share. And all right, here it is. Clint Odom. I want everyone to put their phones away. Make sure you don't have a headphone in, or else I'm going to take participation points away from you. As that is rude. People are talking. And Clint, I'm going to go ahead and kind of press the go button right now on the camera. They'll be able to see you if you walk up here, kind of stand on the side. You're in view. And Daniel, I'm going to make sure you get this before I forget. That's your idea. All right. Let's give all our eyes and ears to Clint. Go ahead, Clint.
Okay, so for my current event, I did education in developing countries. So background information. The definition of a developing country is a country that has a GNI equal to or lower than $1,035.
Is that per person?
Yes.
Okay.
And then GNI is the gross national income, which is the total amount of money made per year. And then from that definition, there are currently 47 developing countries in the world.
What was underneath that? That's what I was trying to figure out last night.
Women are less likely to enter and finish school than men.
Okay. They're recording you through this, so, and speak loud enough to talk to them.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
In developing countries, 61 million children do not attend school. 32 million of these people live in sub-Saharan Africa, and 11 million of these live in South Asia.
You're right. Okay.
53% of children who do not attend school are females, and then the other 47% are basically males. Then only 59% developing country children finish primary school, which is elementary in our world. And then 62 million kids in developing countries do not attend secondary school, which is middle school and high school combined. And then 750 young adults, it should be 750,000, which is over 15 years old, cannot read and write in these countries. And then 2/3 of those people are women.
Look at the stat right here. It says 32 million of these kids live in sub-Saharan Africa. The largest state or country in sub-Saharan Africa is what? It's not a hard one. It starts with a C, ends in an ongo. Yeah, Congo. Okay. So you can see a direct correlation between what Clint is talking about and the material that we were actually talking about yesterday. Go ahead. Oh, UNICEF. I laughed last night. Sorry. Go ahead.
What I think will happen in the future, if we continue to do very little to motivate and support kids in developing countries to go to school, then the numbers will increase. This is due to population growth over time. If we start to help build schools or donate to charities, the numbers will greatly change, and increase of kids going to school and maybe more women going to school could be equal. And then more kids in developing countries who won't have higher paying jobs that require a higher form of education. They could become doctors and develop the cure for cancer if they got the opportunity to.
So that's what UNICEF is?
Yeah, if you donate to them, they'll help build schools and stuff.
I wasn't trying to rag on that yesterday. It's the only one I remembered.
No, you're good.
All right. The Widgio. Now I gotta do all this fancy button pushing.
Education affect developing countries.
All right, Zoomers, I'm gonna get you on this video. Zoom, zoom, zoom. All right. How does the lack anything we should be looking for here, or is it pretty obvious in the first words on the screen? Okay, thanks.
Education is one of the most important aspects of a person's life, especially in developing countries. For each extra year of education, a person in poverty can increase their income by approximately 10%. This is important because people in developing countries already have a low income. If parents and their children don't go to school, they'll keep struggling to survive, and they will never be able to get out of poverty. Another thing education helps with is health. If people have an education, they will live longer by 0.18 years. This happens because people are educated on hygiene. If children get educated, the mortality rate of the country will go down. Without education, a country won't have a good economy either. They won't be able to open different industries. They also can't compete with other nations. This is because the country will be struggling to survive on its own, and this lack of competition will drive the country's economy down even more. One country that is struggling with this problem is South Sudan. South Sudan is the least educated country in the world. It has one of the world's weakest and most underdeveloped economies. One reason for this is the civil war that destroyed many important parts of the country, like the schools. In South Sudan, only 27% of the population knows how to read as of 2009. This is detrimental to the country. Without having this basic skill, 73% of the population can't communicate unless it's verbally. Approximately 50% of elementary school children in South Sudan don't go to school. This means more than 1 million Sudanese children ages 5 to 11 aren't in school. If these children don't go to school, they will be like their parents who will be struggling to provide for their family. The lack of education can really harm a country and the people living. The country won't grow economically, and the people won't be able to improve their lives. Without education, a country will continue to suffer for generations until this basic right can be provided for them.
Very interesting, actually, because we've lost a full year of education in our own country, especially in the younger ages. How are we going to bounce back from that? All right. Gonna pop up that again, and Clint Walker, don't do that to me. I know it's gonna do. Smarter than that. All right. Clint, go ahead, walk us through your discussion questions, please.
All right, so number one, how can we help get education for kids in developing countries? Number two is, why do you think so many kids in developing countries drop out of school? And then number three is, do you think that education is important? Why or why not?
How can we help get education for kids in developing countries? All right, without saying we're just going to give them money. That's a cop-out. An actual answer, like an actual solution. Okay, 2, why do you think so many kids in developing countries drop out of school? That's a good question. 3, do you think education is important? Why or why not? Think about the last 13 months, folks. If you were in 3rd grade and you were learning how to do times tables or read, how important would it be? How difficult would the last 13 months have been? Some of you probably have younger siblings that are in this situation. I just know of my own kids going from 9 months to 19 months, they've not seen basically anybody other than family. So they have stranger danger. Plus, they don't use words because they're never around anyone. So, yeah. Hey, let's go ahead and give Clint a big round of applause. Solid work. Super relevant to what we talked about yesterday. Thank you, sir. So I'm going to go ahead and end the show. The questions are still on the board, obviously. And I want to get ready for Yoel. And also want to make sure that people are participating. Do I have a David Brantley out there? I don't. Brianna or Ahmed? No. William Mitchell, you are on this. You are literally on this Zoom. What are you doing right now? Let's go. And then everyone else told me they're going to be absent. All right. Anybody in the room care to share an answer that they feel passionate about? Sophia, your hand up first, and Amelia.
For number two, I think a lot of kids drop out of school because they need their parents and their families. Sorry about my voice. Their parents and their families like need their support to like help them pay for everything that they need. And I feel like if their parents were to have like a better education, and like that whole cycle to stop, so that their parents would worry about like providing and then take more about their.
Good. Actually, that's one of the big things we just talked about in AP this class, like this week, was the population growth of the continent of Africa has hurt it in getting education because these people look for low-paying jobs. I think Daniel said the same thing in his response is, and they can work and make a little bit of money, and they do that to provide for the family, but they don't actually progress the family or the society as much as they could. Anybody else? Amelia, were you gonna say something similar or not? Okay, anybody else? Yeah, did not. I would say to that comment that industrialized countries, which traditionally stress the K to 12 plus 4 year more education, are going in different paths, like you're saying. For example, at North Central JEL, the state made that like a pathway to graduation rather than having to complete so many Spanish or whatever foreign language classes or math or science. Now you can graduate by completing a 2-year internship there that actually gives you accreditation for a job that can maybe make $35,000 a year, enough to put food on the table and get an apartment for sure. So yeah, and Germany does that right. Germany does that. They track students in 3 different levels, basically once you hit 5th grade, for that reason. Ava, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say that I think that's true. Like, for like math, like I feel like you might say we don't even use math and stuff in like school.
But yeah, I was horrible. I don't even know. I don't know how I got past like 7th or 8th grade and then high school was a blur. And I didn't take a single math class in college. But am I really good at basic math and business skills? Yeah, but I don't use anything from geometry or.
I think we should only use math to an extent.
That or embedding like technology or coding, little things like that can help you in your profession. Yeah. Well, and that's what I was saying. In Germany, they do that. So you go to a technical school where you learn how to be a tradesman, working like a Mercedes-Benz factory or a Bosch factory. But because their trade unions are so strong and ours aren't anymore in the U.S., you're guaranteed basically about a $70,000 a year job. You get automatically come out of what would be college, but college, with 5 weeks paid vacation per year. I mean, think about that. In the United States, to get a job where you have 5 weeks of paid vacation, you have to work a long time or have a couple different degrees, And that's just a general tradesperson. Like I said, a person who puts parts on a car, etc. A lot different. Back to the developing country thing, though. It's hard for us to wrap our heads around the fact that education is the key to success, though, because you do have to have enough able-bodied people that can read.
Like life skills. Even
what they stressed in that film that Clint said, life skills like hygiene and, like, again, my eye was infected. I had the luxury of having health insurance through my wife's company. I don't use this stuff, but I was able to go get into an eye doctor appointment. I had no copay, which I was freaking out that I was gonna have like a $300 copay, and I got a script, and now I don't look like, you know, as bad. Okay, so I mean, but that's the stuff that we are able to do in this country that other places around the world don't have access to. I mean, obviously, people in this country don't have access to that. I knew it was, you know, I was privileged in that sense. All right, Clint, that was excellent and good discussion. No other classes don't have this kind of discussion. I appreciate it a lot. Let's go to number 2 here. Yoel, what do you mean, yeah? I don't know what yeah means.
Let's do it. Let's get it on.
No, man, that's not the attitude. Is let's embrace how fun this is. And
yeah, that's the North Korean flag and Kim Jong-un.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay, Zoomers, we're gonna go back here. We're going number 2, Yoel, and I gotta download this real quick. Here we go. And gonna go ahead and share the screen. Going here and all right, sir.
Oh yeah.
Tell us what we're doing.
So this is like from way back in January when they first had this parade. Like these are missiles that you can launch from a submarine and it looks like a volcano. Don't be alarmed. It's not a volcano. It's just a missile.
Real loud. You get
it's
two
just
things.
A missile. Don't be alarmed.
Got them and them. Okay.
Don't be alarmed. It's just a missile. It's not, well, it will hurt you, but just yeah. If you see it, run. Yeah,
okay. Quick side note. This picture on the right looks almost identical to the Soviet Union during the Cold War. If anyone's ever seen that before.
Yeah, it does.
Something else we talk about in AP World History. Yeah, which we'll get to this year, I think, if I can hurry. All right, go ahead.
So like I said, this is from January 15th. They had a parade of like missiles, and they do this like every month or so. And this was a few days as well from Biden's inauguration. As you can see, this is what I was talking about. How it looks like a volcano. See, doesn't it look like a volcano? You guys think it looks like a volcano?
Just keep talking.
Yeah, that's right.
I know, but
so he said that Mr. Kim Jong-un said that the United States was the biggest enemy to North Korea. And so an expert from North Korea, or this dude, and Kit Panda, I don't know if I said it right, he said, "New Year, new Pook Gook song." So yeah, that's how you pronounce it, Pook Gook song, exactly like that. So this is the 5th one that they released, which is kind of scary, but also not. Because they haven't exactly like perfected it. But
can you tell us why that could be scary?
It's scary because if it's submarine launched, then they could be on their way right now in a submarine just waiting for it. So right now, well, not right now, this was from last week, they had tried to team up, quote unquote, with the government of China. So this is Biden with China, which is us, yay. And this is them. This is North Korea, Kim Jong-un shaking hands. And he said that we're hostile towards them and that they should team up and like take us down, like, you know, like a Marvel and DC type deal. So we're hoping Biden is going to try to push an alliance with China before North Korea does. And we want that. That's a good thing.
Why is that a good thing?
Because then they won't have a lot more resources or power to be able to come up to us, to the United States, and attack us. So this was also a while back. I know this is called current events, a few months. So there was a meeting in Seoul, which is the, I think it's the capital of South Korea. South Korea?
Seoul.
Yeah. And she said, I don't know why I think of Michael Jackson, but she said that she didn't want the US to stink up the meeting. So that would be really bad. And if they continue kind of insulting us, I think Biden is going to get really, really upset and just let's go to war, man. Yeah, something like that. And I think it will also result in a war between not only the US, but also other Asian countries like China, Japan, and South Korea as well. This is my video.
One second, folks. We need to go back here for the video and where is it? I know, but I have way too many video. There we go. What is that?
It's in Korean. This is from the North Korea, but it's by BBC.
Okay, we're stopping the share here. We're doing a little new share action, and this is can you explain that to us what we're watching?
It's pretty much just the parade that I was talking about earlier. Them showing it off. It's like a military type. These are all the soldiers and stuff.
공화국 무력의 최고 사령관 동지를 불러도 많은 재판으로 터치올리며 열병 행진에 갔다니다. 다시 영광의 사고를 시각을 선포가 기다려온 장병들이 사기 춘천에서 광장에 들어서고 있습니다. 이제 하늘 땅 바다에서 주소단을 상하여 선과 정의를 누리려 합니다. 예, 먹고 예, 이놈과 이거 차야나 우리 지켜지는 날을 어떻게 체감했으로 우리만 인도리는 투명복 한국이 귀중함을 방치하니 참한 신당의 세계의 그런 우리의 신념을 어디까 만세.
Not good at all.
Okay, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let's get this back up.
So I want to
get the right share here. New share over here. All right, go ahead.
Okay,
Loud.
so based on based on what I have told you and I've showed you, do you think that anything will happen between any other countries? Like, what do you guys think is going to happen? Or would you want to live in North Korea, seeing as they have all this technology and weaponization and stuff like that? Would you want to live there? Also, do you think that other countries around North Korea are safe? Because with weapons comes weapon testing. You think that they would be safe or not?
Okay, let's give you all a round of applause here, folks. Go ahead and take a moment to answer one of these three questions. All of that military money that you saw spent and all the fancy uniforms and technology is at the price of the people's living standard. So whereas Yoel called it cool technology, I'm going to call it not cool technology because people don't get to eat so that they can have that military technology. What'd you say, Vincent? Free weapon? Yeah, of course, right? You know. All right, so 3 questions are up here. Let's go ahead and see what we got from the class. I would not want to live there. They use scare tactics. Yes. Treatment of the people is bad. other countries around the area, it's going to be interesting. Like Japan, you know, the United States is the Japanese military. Amelia might not be on our phone. And it'll be interesting to see if the United States puts more military presence in Japan. It's also very interesting because of the fact that Biden is anti-war, my friend. So like what you're saying makes sense, but on the same hand is if you followed any of Biden's maneuvers or actions since he's been in office, they've all been aimed at fixing social problems, domestic, that means at home problems in the United States, not foreign issues. Okay, whereas Trump dealt with more of the foreign world, and obviously the delegations are relationship with China. And so I think Republicans, middle of the roaders, Democrats are all kind of wondering where we're going to end up with China, which I think, like you did say in your project, will determine where we end up with North Korea. If North Korea were to send one of those, what you call poop coop things, or whatever volcano things, to the United States would blow them off the face of the earth. Like there would be no more North Korea. Well, yeah, but I'm just saying they are in over their head in the sense that the United States has access to like 15 to 20,000 nuclear weapons.
Yeah, that's why.
Correct. And yeah. That also brings up something we've talked about quite a bit in the other classes. What's the U.S.'s role as a superpower? Are we to go in and tell Kim Jong-un, you're not supposed to have these ballistic missiles? Why? If we allow Iran, if we allow Pakistan, India, Japan, Britain, etc., Brazil to have these kind of weapons, why are we going to tell North Korea they can't? Just because they have an authoritarian faux communist leader? I mean, see what I'm saying? Like sometimes you got to worry about the plank in your own eye before you try to get the speck out of your neighbor's eye. That's a quote. That's a quote from the Bible, but it's actually fairly legitimate. Anybody want to comment on that? Sorry, that was thought provoking. David, what you got, man? It's all that entire video that he showed was all propaganda. Like they took video clips of the most perfect opportune times and showed them because they want the rest of the world to be in fear of what they're doing. What they didn't show you is the concentration camps, the detention camps, the lack of ability to have like toothpaste, toilet paper, doctor's visits, dental procedures, some of those things that you were like, wow, I use those, or they sound good to me. That's what they didn't show you, you know? There's a reason. Yeah. It's very similar to the Soviet Union. Once the internet came around and like once the Soviet Union realized that the people in the West had jeans and McDonald's, like Levi's and toaster ovens and microwaves, that's when the Soviet Union fell. And that's when the internet came around. They almost directly coincide. Good point. All right, hey, we got number 3 here. We got Ava Fernhaber. This is something we've been all looking forward to for a while now. So Ava is up. Let's see if we can't find your project.
I shared it with you also.
I also looked at it last night, so.
Oh yeah, I saw your comment.
All right. I think I already had it maybe pulled up, but I think this was Olivia Ferry's Period 1. So we're gonna go ahead and stop the share here, and we've got I'm gonna get these off the screen to make more room. Ava Fernhaber, download. And all right, this is number 3. Where's the share? Where are you? There you are. All right, Ava, the floor is yours. You are going to be kind of talking to
Hey guys, hey Kyra. Okay, mine is women's rights in Australia. Background: the first female trades union meeting was held on December 15th, 1882. In 1895, women in Australia were finally allowed to vote. In 1908, women gained the right to vote in elections, and equal minimum wage was granted in 1969. In 1976, rape was outlawed in marriage, and it wasn't until 1995 the law passed to outlaw sexual harassment. These are only a couple of achievements that women made throughout history, but men in Australia were entitled to vote since 1856. Men did not have to fight for their rights like women. Men's rights were given to them. What's currently happening? 1 in 3 women before the age of 15 experience violence and sexual harassment. Women spend twice the amount of time on unpaid work than men. The gender pay gap is currently 14%, and women on average $25,534 less than men every year. And COVID has had a huge impact on women, especially in the workplace. It could affect them long term if there's no changes being made. My prediction, I think change will happen eventually. Australia has an Equality Rights Alliance that is continuing to advocate and make changes for women. As you can see in the previous slide, there's not been a huge amount of change. Women have the ability to do more things, but they should have had those opportunities from the beginning. Women in Australia specifically have been treated differently and wrong on a daily basis. So if we want to see change, we have to be the change. Oh yeah, this video is just some like statistics and how much it impacts like women in the long run.
Say that one more time. What is this video about?
The statistics on how much gender inequality impacts women in the long run.
Okay. Find there we go. All right. Go ahead and talk to us. Wonder how that compares to the U.S.
Okay. Can I see?
Nope. Wait a second. Got it.
Okay, my discussion questions are: how do you think men can make it more acceptant for women? What
Yeah.
Australia?
Is that in Australia or?
Yeah, what?
Is that
in Australia. What would Australia look like if women and men were treated equally? And what is one thing you can do to help this issue? And that's all.
Thank you, Ava. All right, so we've got a few people that need to respond here. There can be more information and education around sexual assault given to men to know how to act and get involved. That's a pretty good long answer. It's good. Anyone care to share something out loud? Amelia, go ahead.
For number one, I think like this is like in general, men don't really think about like what like actually happens, like it happens to all and stuff like that. And so I think it does need to be like, and it's always like such a weird topic to talk about when it comes to that, because like somebody's always in denial that it actually happened or whatever. So I think it needs to be brought up more and more commonly, and on what to do with like fewer witnesses.
Would you say this topic transcends Australia? Amelia.
I think
that's what I mean. It goes beyond Australia. Okay, Hannah.
Well, kind of like what Amelia said. I didn't agree. I said I don't think anyone said no in Australia.
Yeah. Kim, and then we'll go to Sophie.
The first one, I think it's just like there's some people when they think of equality, they're like, oh, that means there's equal fights now, that I can keep it because you're a girl and all that, instead of just thinking of like the actual equality of it, like women actually being equal to men, because like what he said, like, women are not like almost everywhere, women are not treated equally.
Yeah.
And that's not in like every place. Like obviously there's going to be women that like make you a certain man or something, but like people, they just go straight to that, like, oh, well then we can be equal this way, instead of like equal pay and being treated and like not making fun of like sexual harassment, because it happens to like everybody, and some people don't even realize that sexual harassment.
A lot of microaggressions. A lot of microaggressions against women by men, or boys against girls on the playground or school or whatever, right? I mean, it's almost subconscious. That's what a microaggression is. Yeah, it's a good point. Anybody else? Sophie?
So for number one, I said that men can help by using their voices, because a lot of people think that like, oh well, I can't be a feminist because I'm a guy. But that's not the same. It's not what that means. It's not just for women. It's for anybody who thinks that like everybody should be equal. So it's just called feminist because it started with like wanting women to be equal to men. So I feel like if people would just try to put their like masculinity, whatever, aside and just try to help women, I feel like they just need to use this like silencing him.
Here's a food for thought. Something that's going through my head. Every major world religion, every single major world religion, whether it's Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, Confucianism, preaches men over women. So in a lot of countries, even outside the United States in particular, like India or China or Korea or Japan or Vietnam, Indonesia, etc., Iran, Afghanistan, Iraq, Middle Eastern countries, there is the idea that men are over women due to their religious beliefs. So I think some of that contributes to the inequality that's already what I would call like latent inequality, meaning it's in the culture, it's already there without there being a recognition of it. And I think, and more or less, we hate to say this, but the United States was founded on somewhat kind of Christian principles. Our founding fathers were kind of atheists, they were deists, but a lot of other people were Christians that moved here, and even a lot of African Americans have have taken on Christianity, and minority groups have turned to Christianity, and that's not an equal religion for men and women in most forms. So, yeah, it's a deep problem. Ava, nice job. Everybody did a great job today. Those of you on Zoom, make sure that you complete the questions. Ava, put you presented on yours, please. And Atticus, I see you're really responsive today. So if you think you could put something in, that'd be helpful. And then here's what I would like to do. Unless anybody had anything to share that I missed. Did anyone else want to share anything? No? Okay. Zoomers, gonna go ahead and stop the share. Have a great spring break. Please be safe. And also take some time for yourself. Yes, sir.